Hello, welcome to Poetry Changes Lives. Once again, I'm sat in my garden reading a bit of poetry, setting myself up for the day. This poem I'm going to read today is quite something. I guarantee to myself it's going to make me feel happier. If you listen to it and perhaps read it yourself, I think you'll find the same. I can't see how it can really not set you thinking and make you feel maybe a little bit happier, a little bit more loved. Well, poetrychangeslives.com is my website. You can get this daily reading there. You can get the book here if you like, Poetry Changes Lives, of course. I think it's a great book to give other people or to have near you any day of the year. You can dip into it and ask yourself, what happened on this day, I wonder? And I'd like a bit of poetry put in my head just to make me feel a bit happier. And you can get this on a daily basis, any day of the year. Makes a nice present to give people too, you know. Well, you can get it from the website or from Amazon or from any bookshop for that matter. Just go in and ask. Well, let me demonstrate what's on offer today. On this day, 1930, the remarkable and in many ways a very fine poet, Ted Hughes, English poet, was born in 1930. A very, very cultured, learned person. He became an academic at Cambridge University, a British Poet Laureate. He's well known for his excellent poetry, but perhaps even better known for the extraordinary tragedies that beset him in the course of his love life, fairly early on in his career, really. He had some devastating traumatic events. First, he married the wonderful and very tragic, emotionally a bit unstable American poet Sylvia Plath, who came to Cambridge to, I think, do some postgraduate work, and they fell in love and married. 9 years later, he left her for another lady called Assia Wevill. Sylvia Plath was devastated, committed suicide, tragically. She just couldn't handle things, became very depressed. She took great pains that her children were not, she killed herself in her kitchen, but her children were well asleep and knew nothing of it. Ted Hughes, of course, was pretty shocked and devastated, though he had previously left her. How much this affected her, we don't know. Well, Hughes went on to continue his affair with Assia Wevill, but tragically, she later herself committed suicide, killing their young child at the same time. An appalling series of events. Ted Hughes was completely devastated, of course, and stopped writing altogether for a while, just couldn't handle things. He did later marry, and that third marriage was successful, though he never really got over what had happened. He lived for well on to old age, living quietly in Yorkshire and remote parts of Devon as well. But he was never the man he once was. People said some very nasty things about him, but I can't judge, certainly. I've done some appalling things in my life, and I'm not going to judge others. But it was an appalling series of traumatic events for anyone. Today I'm going to read a wonderful poem by an amazing poet of a much earlier time, 16th, 17th century, George Herbert. He wrote some incredibly spiritual, self sort of self-discovery, a great insight into his own self and his spiritual progress. To my mind, his sort of honesty about himself and his way he asks God for help and acknowledges that help is quite unique and very beautiful and very moving. George Herbert himself was an Anglican a clergyman, came from a very aristocratic family, very well educated, but he lived at a time of huge religious turmoil, of course, in the 16th, 17th century. He doubted himself and his own behavior, but he wasn't shy of asking for help and acknowledging that help when it came from above mostly, and he was someone really prepared to bare his soul and work on himself. I find his poetry very moving and uplifting, and I know this poem is going to make me feel better when I've read it. It's quite famous. It's called Love Bade Me Welcome. I think it's a beautiful account of a soul, a wounded soul, wondering if it's able and ready to accept the love of another, and realizing that it can and will. I think it's a very, very beautiful bit of writing. Love bade me welcome, yet my soul drew back, guilty of dust and sin. But quick-eyed love, observing me grow slack from my first entrance in, drew nearer to me, sweetly questioning if I lacked anything. A guest, I answered, worthy to be here. Love said, you shall be here. I, the unkind, ungrateful. Ah, my dear, I cannot look on thee. Love took my hand and, smiling, did not reply. Who made the eyes but I? Truth, Lord, but I have marred them. Let my share go where it doth deserve. And know you not, said Love, who bore the blame? My dear, then I will serve. You must sit down, says Love, and taste my meat. So I did sit and eat. I think that's such a beautiful account of, a person thinking, gosh, I'm just not worthy of being loved. The things I have done, nobody's going to love me. And then gradually being sort of led back to understanding that, you are worthy of love. We're all worthy of being loved. I think it's a very, very touching, beautiful poem. Wow, it makes me feel better, a lot better. For many years, I thought I was totally unworthy of being loved, I can tell you. But now, I know different. Today, I will ask that I will be able to handle whatever happens in life, however difficult that may be. Wow. Thanks, everyone. I'm so glad I picked that poem. I love it. Hope you liked it. Have a good day.